Hi, my name is Mr. Cleveringa, and I will be teaching a 4th grade lesson on angles. In this lesson, we will learn how to draw and identify acute, right, and obtuse angles. We will look at examples of each kind of angle and learn what makes a specific angle acute, right, or obtuse. Students will then follow along as I draw each type of angle. Here's our first example. This angle happens to be an acute angle. We know this because the angle measured between the two line segments is less than 90 degrees. Example 2 happens to be a very special kind of angle. This one is called a right angle. We call it a right angle because the two lines form a perfect 90-degree angle. These two lines are also considered to be perpendicular to each other. Also note the square in the corner right here. This is another way to indicate a right angle. Example 3 is the last kind of angle we're going to talk about today, and it is an obtuse angle. It is obtuse because the two line segments form an angle greater than 90 degrees, but also less than 180 degrees. As you can see, I've provided an example of each of the three kinds of angles on the left side of the screen. Next, I'm going to give you a definition of each of the three angles on the right side of the screen. Your job will be to match the definition on the right with the angle on the left. We will start with the angle at the top, the 47.7 degree angle. As you can see, this angle is less than 90 degrees, so it would go with the bottom definition. And remember, this angle is called an acute angle. The next angle has this little square in the corner again, which indicates a 90-degree angle, and it also tells us that these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So because this is a 90-degree angle, it matches up with the definition at the top. Our last angle is much larger than 90 degrees, 127.42 to be exact. This means it lines up with the definition in the middle because the angle is greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. The next activity will be drawing different angles. So when I draw an angle, I always start with a straight line, and then when I want to make the next line segment to create an angle, I always start at one of the endpoints and then I draw another line. If I make the lines perpendicular, it would form a 90-degree angle. As I make the two line segments closer and closer together, it forms an acute angle of lesser and lesser degree. If I go back to 90 and then past, it will be an obtuse angle. If I go all the way to making a straight line, it is no longer an angle but a line. So an obtuse angle must be somewhere between 180 and 90 degrees. In this last activity, we're going to be looking at triangles and identifying which kind of angles are found in each triangle. First, let's focus on this triangle right here, specifically at the top. This angle is less than 90 degrees, which makes it acute. So I'm going to circle that angle in blue because it's acute. If you look at the other two angles in this triangle, they are also less than 90s. So I'm also going to circle those in blue to indicate that they are acute angles. Next, let's look at this large triangle in the upper right corner, specifically this angle at the top left. This angle is definitely smaller than 90 degrees, so it is also acute. In the bottom right corner of that triangle, we also see another small angle, which is also an acute angle. The third angle in this triangle is much larger than 90 degrees. So it would be an obtuse angle, and I'm going to circle it in green. As we look at the last triangle, you will notice that there are two more acute angles at the top and on the right side. And the last angle looks like a perfect 90-degree angle. So as we look at each of the three triangles, this one has three acute angles and would also be considered an acute triangle. This large triangle has two acute angles and one obtuse angle, which would make this triangle an obtuse triangle. The last triangle has two more acute angles and one right angle, which makes it a right triangle.